everyone, and welcome to this edition of Stream On. I'm Jim Williams, your host, and on this edition, we're going to focus on Sundance Now and their brand new, outstanding miniseries. It's a 4-parter called Cheat. Now, it premieres every Thursday night. You get a new episode of it, and I highly recommend that over this holiday weekend. It would be a very good idea to catch up. Okay, you're going to have 2 to catch up on. All right. And trust me when I tell you, when you finish the 2, you're going to want that 3rd one to come right now. It's not coming yet, but every Thursday will be coming a new one. Now, what's Cheat all about? Well, simple enough. Katherine Kelly plays Leah Dale. Now, she's a Cambridge lecturer who wants desperately, like all college professors, to get her tenure. But when she accuses one of her students, Rose, who's played by Molly Windsor, of plagiarizing a paper, well, folks, that's when things go totally upside down. Now, Cheat takes place in an entirely tightly knit community where everyone knows Leah and they know Rose. They're part of this university atmosphere, and that's kind of what is the subplot here. You've got 2 things going on. You've got Leah accusing Rose of cheating, and you've got all these layers of bureaucracy and highbrow education all clashing at one time. It is an amazing, amazing show. And let's welcome the aforementioned Katherine Kelly. Katherine, when you first read the scripts, I don't know if you're like me, when I first saw the first episode, I needed to see more. When you got the script, how was it for you?
Yeah, and I was sent the first 2 episodes and felt just the same way. Yeah, it was, I sat down at my desk and I read both of them straight through. I was, cross that I didn't have a 3rd one because I really wanted to know what happened. And for me, the script is king. So, it's usually, it's a great start when that happens. And then I met the director, Louise Hooper, and I really liked what she wanted to bring out in the show, was that she wanted to make sure that it was a cat and cat show. There's 2 main characters, Leah and Rose. One is the lecturer, one is the student, and she wanted to make it feel like you feel when you're watching a great boxing match, that neither player is weak, and it just depends what round you're in as to who you favour. And then also Cheat is made by Two Brothers Pictures, and they made The Missing. They also made Liar, and since Cheat they've made a great show called Baptiste. And they also look after Fleabag. That's their show too. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge, of course, made it, and then wrote it, and she made it with Two Brothers Pictures. So I felt like the show was in really good hands, and I was really keen to work with Jack and Harry Williams. So it was kind of a no-brainer, really. And then they said, and Rose is going to be played by Molly Windsor. And Molly Windsor, well, I was going to say that she's a rising star in the UK, but actually she's already won a BAFTA at the tender age of 21. So she's not just a rising star, she is a star. And I love her work, and I think I love her taste as well. So I was really excited to start. And then they said, and your husband is going to be Tom Goodman-Hill, and Tom Goodman-Hill and I were in Mr. Selfridge together for 4 seasons. So I know Tom, and I was really looking forward to working with him again.
I was a big Selfridge fan.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So it was.
Yeah, Leah's kind of different to Lady May, right?
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, just a bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a titch.
Yeah, I like that though.
A little bit more drama in Lee's life as opposed to Selfridge.
Yes, that's right.
So, look. So speaking of Lee, I mean, we all, you're playing a character. Is there anything in Lee that Katherine can relate to?
That's a very good question. Let me have a think. Well, I think
Okay.
to begin with, I felt like she was quite far removed. I didn't go to university. I went to RADA at 18, so going to drama school is a very different experience from university. So I didn't even feel like I'd had that experience. And she lives in that bubble of academia, of which
Right.
I'd never stepped into. So, but I enjoy the research that goes with the show. You know, whether that is historical or whether it's just entering a world that you don't yet know. And I kind of do lots of that anyway, no matter how much or little it's required. So that was interesting to me. And then, I've got one of Leah's big dilemmas is that her husband wants a child and she doesn't think that she does. She's not 100% sure really either way. She's really career driven and they're having problems conceiving. So actually I think if it happened naturally then she would be happy, but then to actually pursue it is a different thing. And she's not quite sure if she wants that or indeed have the time for that. It's definitely not at the top of her priority list, whereas it is for her husband. You know, and I have 2 kids. I have very different priorities in life to that. So, no, I think she's quite different. But I always feel with thrillers, especially really good thrillers, that the twists and turns are so sharp and acute, but the premise itself is so heightened that I really feel like the characters, for you to enter that heightened world, you have to really, really believe the characters, and you follow Leah through all of her decisions and choices, and I wanted to make sure that she felt as real and authentic as possible. So, yeah, I did, even though on paper we're not similar, for once I actually tried to bring her closer to me, because actually a lot of the joy that I find in my craft is getting a character, as in somebody like Lady May, who is so far away from me, and actually going there and see what that's like. But yes, I try to bring myself and Leah a bit closer.
You know, you mentioned just a second ago about a good mystery and the twists. Even though I've seen but the only episode first, I can see where one of the reasons I wanted to the binge was because I could see things developing in a way that I'm like, let's see. This is going somewhere, and I'm kind of enjoying this ride.
Yeah. Well, for me, I felt like it had all the hallmarks of a great thriller. You know, there's even a cat.
Right.
But
who didn't love the cat, right?
So I know, right? You need a cat in a good thriller. So it's satisfying in that way, but it's also surprising, and I think the surprising is in the detail. Once you've watched the 4 episodes, you know, you will be able to see all those points of what makes all the great thrillers. But yeah, it's the nuances within that I think hopefully keeps you on the edge of your seat. Because we try to play against stereotypes within that, and keep the audience guessing and really unsure, mainly of who's good and who's bad, you know. And I enjoy dramas where you sit in that grey area a lot in between those two things, because nothing is that straightforward. Everything's complicated, and I think that's the most delicious area to investigate.
Absolutely. And you know, one of the great things about mystery is that it's a bit of like a shell game. You know, you're watching this and you're like, okay, they're taking me down this path, and all of a sudden I get a quick turn, and now I'm going in a totally different direction. And even in the first episode, I can see where that, you know, there were threads in the first episode where I thought, okay, I see where I'm going. And then all of a sudden I'm like, no, I've got a clue, but I want to go for the ride anyway. And I think that's a test to your acting, your ensemble cast, the writing, the way it was done. It really is a brilliantly produced, brilliantly acted show that does want, I mean, because to be a good mystery, right, you want to hook the reader or the viewer in it, and then if you're in all the way. And I think that's
Sure.
what, in the first episode, I could tell from that point forward, I'm in. All right, you got me. Now take me on this ride. I can't wait.
Yeah, because actually, I think the first episode that's very much the setup. You know, it's quite a slow build. You know, it's like the beginning of a roller coaster. It like takes you in a nice straight line for a while and introduces you to every introduces you to every
something's coming up. Yeah.
Person that you're going to meet. Yeah. And then actually the second and third episode is where, you know, it really does gather that momentum, and you really are on that ride for sure. And then hopefully the fourth episode is does feel really satisfying.
You know, it's interesting. One other thing about Cheat, and it's timely here in the United States because we've had so many scandals in the past year having to do with, you know, some of the highest and most respected universities in the United States have ended up with people either cheating to get in or cheating when they got there, or, you know, and it's high profile cheating, which is even, you know, which makes it even more interesting. And so we are having trials at this point in time of actual actresses and actors who have attempted to get their kids into college. So Cheat on that level.
Yeah, and that news has made it over here. You know, that's big news here as well too. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, I guess that part of it is age old, isn't it? But the part that we deal with on Cheat is the fact that Rose may or may not have paid somebody to write her dissertation for her.
Right.
That's one of the things that the internet has brought with it, hasn't it? It's made that so accessible and just so easy and almost irresistible, I would suspect. I mean, I didn't go to university, so I can't really speak for myself, but I think that must be quite a hard, if it's so viable and also I understand that it moves so quickly, it's quite hard to chase down as well. You know, they sort of find one case and pinpoint it, but already it's morphed into something else, and there's somebody else willing to do it and has figured out another way to pay so that it's not traceable. Yeah, I mean, it must be a real problem in universities and schools and education in general. But then what happens is that's our opening theme of Cheat. But then, as you'll already know in the first episode, that theme then moves on to through lots of different themes within the show, lots of mini storylines within that bigger umbrella of university. So you suspect, obviously, infidelity is something that's questioned, and then also I think even as things like whether Leah, my character, is sort of, you know, is she cheating her husband out of being a father? Is she cheating herself out of things because, you know, parenthood being one of them, because she's not being honest with herself? You know, it's the whole show is peppered with that. So it's a good title.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because, as you say, you have created in your character and in the way that the writers have advanced. And again, first episode only. I was able to see that there's a lot of different strands here, which is why I said when you buy in, you're like, okay, fine. There's so many little things. I want to see how this plays out. And one of the great things is that you and Rose have a pretty decent relationship.
Yeah, well, and that relationship really gathers a pace very quickly. In one of the later episodes, without trying to, but it's a very hard show to talk about because you don't.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to say. A, I don't know, and B, you don't want to tell me. I get that. Yeah, okay.
It's been one of the hardest shows to promote because kind of everything potentially ruins the ending. But however, one thing that I think I can say is that Leah says later on when she's talking about Rose that she barely noticed her as a student. until this point, until the point about the dissertation. And her father is a university lecturer, and I think in the first episode they're sat in the garden, and he says, students they all blend in after a while, and Leah agrees with that. So I think Rose hasn't really come into Leah's sights. She's work shy for sure, but she won't be the first work shy student at university. And but then also because she's not disruptive, I can imagine that she does just sit in the middle and doesn't really take up too much of Leah's time. Either in a lecture or sort of in Leah's mind. And I think that frustrates Rose. And I always wondered if there was you have to wait and see, but if there's a bit of with this dissertation, it's sort of notice me, whether she's written it herself and she really is that intelligent, she just can't be bothered, and she just thought, I'll show you, I'll make you see me, or whether she's paid someone to do it. But there is that kind of desperation in Rose, and she wants Leah to see her, because she hasn't really up until this point. And then once Leah does see her, then it becomes all-consuming, and Rose is all Leah can see, actually, very quickly.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, I'm sure. And
no,
they become it's your life, her life. They all become intertwined real fast. One thing I know, we're getting ready.
The free fall, the downfall for Leah is thick and fast, and I think that's really fun to watch. Actually, at the beginning, she seems like she has this. On the face of things, she seems like she has a seemingly idyllic life.
Right.
She's on the verge of getting a permanent job, trying for a baby, lives in a beautiful house, rides a bike to work. But actually, you never know what goes on behind closed doors, and it isn't all that.
Nope.
Anyway, and then along comes Rose. So that's really, to watch that quick downfall, I think is really fun to see on screen too.
I love, by the way,
because it's not fun to see it in someone else in real life.
Yeah, it's kind of schadenfreude, right?
But it's fun to watch from afar. Yeah.
Right. Better it happened to them than to me, right? The old saying goes. I think one of the other things, and as we get ready to wrap things up here, I know that there's really, in some regards, a separate character to the entire story is the setting. I mean, my God, it's gorgeous.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. Yes, we really wanted to make sure that was a feature in itself, because Cambridge is so beautiful, and also I know our director Louise Hooper felt like thrillers are usually they're quite dark, aren't they? They're usually sort of as the light fades, that sort of noir thriller, and actually she wanted to go against that, and we shot it 2 summers ago where, believe it or not, we had a heat wave, so the weather was absolutely glorious for the 10 weeks that we filmed Cheat, and obviously in our summertime, we have really big, I mean, it's light until 8-9 o'clock at night, so it's really bright and beautiful, and I hope it does feel very sort of quintessentially English, because I know that was definitely the aim, to sort of turn that on its head, that genre on its head.
Right. No, it's beautiful, and it's a love. And I've actually been to Cambridge, and it's just gorgeous. The other thing,
felt like it straight away, right?
See, you went to college.
Good.
Somebody asked you went to Cambridge. You got that going for you. The last thing is that one of the super parts of now the streaming world is we get to see programs like Cheat and work that you've been involved with, like Selfridge and all of that. Here in the United States, we don't have to wait months or years, till it shows up on PBS or someplace. We now have a spot.
Yeah.
We now have an area, with Sundance Now and all the fun stuff that's going on, to actually get to see this stuff in relative real time. I mean, it's not been that long ago that you just finished it.
No, it's great, isn't it? And, and equally, we always had a thing over here where, the same. Like we getting HBO shows was really tough. It was really tough. It was almost like a black market of DVDs. And now, with streaming, we can watch. I watched Succession recently, and I'll say that again. Yes, I watched Succession recently, and I remember when Breaking Bad came out. There was a big article in The Guardian, one of our broadsheets here, and I think that it was like we were on like season 3 or 4, and there was a big article saying the best show you've never seen, because it was so hard to get hold of, and and those days have completely changed, haven't they now? So it's incredible, but it's exciting because it's power to the viewer. You've got all that at your disposal, and I love that. A lot of it is word of mouth, and you get to vote. You get to vote with your remote control and choose what you want to watch. And I hope Cheat is one of those shows.
Oh, they'd be foolish not to, and we're going to make sure they do.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I got to tell you, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward. I'll make you a deal. If there's a show airing in the United States that you can't find, let me know, and I will absolutely get it for you. On the same side, I'm going to hold you, though, to the next time that you have something that you want to promote, that you come back and we have a chance to chat about it.
That's right. Well, I will. I'll come back and talk to you about Liar 2, the second series of Liar, which I'm in.
Okay.
Which will be out, next year sometime.
Special thanks to our guest, Katherine Kelly, the star of Cheat. And that, of course, is on Sundance Now by all means. Highly recommend both Cheat and checking out Sundance Now. It is an outstanding compliment to, say, your Acorn or BritBox combination. They've got plenty of good content out there. So by all means, check out Cheat and check out Sundance Now. We'll be back with more of Stream On right after this from our friends at BMW, makers of the i3, the smartest electric driving machine.
Life is about making decisions. At BMW i, we decided it was time to reinvent the car from the ground up, making sure we were open for truly innovative ideas. We decided that the car we wanted must be electric, and it should be made of extremely light and super strong carbon fiber. And finally, we decided to make it more intelligent and added our promise of incomparable driving pleasure. We made all these decisions to offer you a choice. The all-electric BMW i3.
Now, welcome back, everybody. If you are not yet one of the over 50,000 people who've joined the podcast, well, we make it simple. It is free. All you have to do is go to the App Store, because we are an Apple podcast. Same thing goes over at Google Play, because we're part of the Google podcast family. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, as well as TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and YouTube, just to name a few. Now, for some reason you cannot find us, well, simply pull out the old Google machine, type in Stream On with Jim Williams, and hit the favorite button or subscribe button. Each week you will get a brand new edition of the podcast sent directly to your phone, to your tablet, or to both, okay? Also, if you have an assistant device like, well, let's say Alexa, or one of the Apple devices that answers to the name Siri, or even Google, all you have to do is say, hey, Google or Siri or Alexa, please play the latest edition of Stream On with Jim Williams, and guess what? They'll do it for you, all right? We can't make it any easier, folks. Please go out there, subscribe today. We greatly would appreciate it. Speaking of greatly appreciating things, we certainly greatly appreciate Katherine Kelly, outstanding actress, star of the miniseries on Sundance Now. It is Cheat. Second edition of that miniseries drops Thursday. And so you have 2 to binge over the holiday weekend, plus tons of other outstanding stuff right there on Sundance Now. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, by all means do so. Take that 7-day free trial, and there's plenty of good content out there to see on Sundance Now. And speaking of Sundance Now, Nada Arnott, who is the general manager of Sundance Now, is going to be our guest next week. We're going to do a deep dive in all the outstanding content they have at Sundance Now. All right. So that's coming up next week. Anyway, let's get out of here because we got some turkey to make and some things to do. Get ready for that Black Friday sale. All right. Here we go. So for everyone at Stream On with Jim Williams and our entire team, we wish you the happiest of holiday weekends. Enjoy your time and take the time to do some streaming. Check out Cheat and some of the other great stuff on Sundance Now, as well as many of the other outstanding streaming services which we have highlighted over the past year. So we'll see you after Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Be safe and enjoy your families.